Everybody, welcome back. It's the Noles 24/7 pre-spring offensive inventory. I'm here with Brendan Sonnone. I'm here with Kevin Little, and today we're talking about tight ends. Guys, it's a room that in the past has had a ton of dudes, but not really like high-level dudes. We've tried to attack the problem with a lot of quantity, not so much like high-end talent. There's been some contributors, there's been some flashes here and there, but a lot of it's been Mike Norvell's schematic diversity, getting like walk-ons open and things like that. Not the case this year. The transfer portal was our biatch, and we got the top two tight ends in the portal. Florida State's lands South Carolina transfer Jaheim Bell. Florida State lands physical specimen. And John Krasinski cosplayer from The Office, Kyle Morlock from Shorter University. The kid's a physical specimen. I feel really good about the tight ends. Mike Norvell loves two tight end sets. This is going to be on a very talented Florida State offense. This is going to be the unit for me that the wide receivers were last year. They're going to be a legitimate strength. It's got a lot of talent. Or am I wrong, Brendan? You tell me.
I think you're very much so right. And FSU's tight ends, do you like that? FSU's tight ends were solid last year. I don't think you can say
if-ish, solid-ish.
Cameron McDonald ended up having a good season statistically. He had some really good moments and some frustrating moments. And that was kind of, I think, par for the course. He had 300 receiving yards. Markeston Douglas came on by the end of last season. So he was someone who had some potential, but by and large, you were having to kind of scheme things, and it wasn't a position that the coaching staff felt confident that it was going to be able to just go ahead and unleash. I think that's going to change now in 2023, Trey, for the reasons you mentioned. Like Jaheim Bell was a freak at South Carolina.
Yes, big time.
1,000 yards or so, maybe a little bit more than that from scrimmage combined the last two seasons. That was as a tight end, as a wide receiver. Running backs go down and move him to running back. He can do that. I think only 6 or 7 tight ends nationally have more yards from scrimmage over the last 2 years than him. And we're talking about some pretty good first round draft pick type of tight ends that are ahead of him there. So he's in great company, and he did it in the SEC. Super versatile. Going to be a ton of fun. But yeah, then the addition of Kyle Morlock with what he can do athletically and schools that were in on him, Markeston Douglas coming back. You're talking about retaining guys and developing younger players like a Brian Courtney or a Jackson West. This room, all of a sudden, you're looking at it and you're saying, oh, this seems like it could be pretty good, which is cool because it wasn't always that way here the last few years.
Yeah, you're taking guys that flash, but guys that realistically should be tight end threes on a Florida State. Markeston Douglas' story was great, and he had a lot of solid moments. Him not having to be the guy all the time, I think is going to benefit him. It's going to benefit the offense, and it's just so much more talented than it was a year ago. Kevin, what did you see from Florida State's tight end play last year? He is gone. Fantastic. Did Kevin leave?
Did Kev leave? Oh, no. I thought you were talking about Wyatt Rector.
No. So anyway, Kevin's gone, but I think we can talk about it. So we talked about Jaheim Bell. Kyle Morlock's tape, Brendan. What really stood out to you about him?
Length. I think that first bit, he's 6'7". I think actually FSU lists him at 6'5". He's probably high 6'5", close to 6'6". And he uses that wingspan incredibly well. Now the film is difficult because you're watching Division II competition, right? So that isn't necessarily easy. Kevin, if you are backstage, feel free to join us here. Oh, Kevin's trying to pull up the chalkboard for Jaheim Bell, and he closed himself out is what happened. I'm predicting.
Man, but we just covered up on that. We just kept talking about Kyle Morlock. That's called professionalism. Kevin, you're back. Hello. What did you want to talk about that you got so excited you ended yourself?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Wi-Fi issues on my end.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous. Yeah, I'm glad you guys talked about Kyle Morlock. He went to my rival college, my undergrad.
You got beef with Shorter?
Oh yeah, hate Shorter. But glad he's a Seminole now.
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I do not like Shorter at all.
Those Rome, Georgia hatreds run deep, man.
Oh yeah, we never played them, but they were our rivals that were up a division. It was kind of like the fam FSU thing.
All right, no,
I got you.
All right, we got to keep going. All right, let's talk Jaheim Bell. Jaheim Bell, absolute stud. Changes everything you do on offense. Mike Norvell loves tight ends. As a guy that's an air raid guy by trade, I don't get it, but he loves them. He'll put 2 of them out there, even if they're not any good. And I'll scream at the television, why are there 2 tight ends when none of them are any good? And yet he puts them out there, and you're like, okay. And then they get stuffed in the backfield, and you're like, that was a bad idea. But the guy loves his tight ends. By the end
Can't
of the
stop
year,
himself, baby. Can't
by
stop
the
himself.
end of the year, even he was giving up on tight ends. He was doing this little 2x2 stack formations, where they're like really wide out and there were no tight ends in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I won. But then this offseason, he looked me right in the eyes and he says, I'm going to get you some tight ends and you're not going to see this 2x2 stack for the rest of your life. And I'm like, and so then he brought in Jaheim Bell and Kyle Morlock, and you got to put them on the field. So he's going to put more tight ends on the field. It's a bittersweet moment for me, but they're both absolute studs.
Highlight the positives. What can you do from a run game perspective with those dirty, disgusting, this shouldn't be tight ends on a football field, right, Kevin? I know it's offensive to your eyes, but what is it going to allow Mike Norvell to do more of?
They're not tight ends, though, in the sense of like they're wide receivers or running backs who are
What's the best kind of tight end?
So,
there you go, Brett. Yeah, that's a little spin zone for you. So what's he going to do with those athletes? Yeah, what's he going to do with those athletes that are close to the line of scrimmage? What things does it unlock for Mike this year that he didn't have last year?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to get more of the downfield passing game. You saw that they wanted to have that with Cam McDonald, and you saw them hitting some downfield routes with him, some fades, what's especially kind of dangerous is, those little like pop passes, right? You can RPO with a tight end kind of running down the seam where you read a safety or a linebacker. If they bite in, it's an easy completion. So I think you'll see a lot of that. Jaheim Bell isn't really a true tight end. He played running back a little bit at South Carolina. I think you'll use him wherever you can, right? So like, I dare you to put a cornerback on him, right? I dare you to put someone that's 5'11", 175 pounds on this guy. He'll body you. Like, he's a weapon, right? He's someone that's in this offense that we've already discussed which already has just a stable of ridiculous weapons. He might be the foremost of those.
Wow.
In the sense of just how flexible he can be as an athlete.
And you're right. It's crazy. We've seen the Mike Norvell offense now with really good quarterback play. We've seen it with really good running back play. We've seen it with really good wide receiver play. To Kevin's chagrin, we're going to see it with really good tight end play this year. And it's just, I think you said it all, my man. Like, of all of these talented position groups, the most talented dude might be Jaheim Bell out of all of them. And the guy with the most potential might be his stablemate, Kyle Morlock. And we've got guys that are behind them, like Markeston Douglas, Brian Courtney, guys that are experienced, like assured hands as guys that don't have to take the bulk of the snaps anymore. So I feel good about this room like I have the other three. What do you guys think? I think that's about it for tight ends before anybody's internet gets kicked out again.
Oh, thumbs up for the tight ends. Phrasing. Kids show. Thumbs up. Tight ends. It's good.
Do you agree? Kevin?
Yeah, I think this tight end room is going to be the one thing to watch in the spring. How are they getting integrated? How is he going to use them? That's a fascinating question, and I think you'll start to see some answers in the spring.
And we'll be here to give them to you. Guys, you've hung with us for this long. We got one more, and we're talking the Big Uglies, another group that got a nice infusion of talent in the trenches from the transfer portal. That's right, it's the offensive lineman. Shout out to Coach AB. For Kevin, for Brendan, I am Trey. Keep chopping on, and we will see you for the offensive lineman. Love you.